Hey guys, Sit Vain Play. Today we are going to do a little bit more of a down and dirty version of what army should I bring. I think I'm going to make it a little bit faster and not spend as much time doing all the little detail stuff like I did with the Space Marines, because that video was like 30 minutes long or something like that. And not everybody has the time to sit around and watch 30 minutes of video. So what I'm going to do is try and bang this out as fast as I can. Sorry. So we're doing Astra Militarum today. The point of this video series is for me to give you ideas of what weapons to bring versus certain armies, because that allows you to kind of equip your squads with the appropriate weapons and know what kind of squads or what kind of vehicles you might want to bring based on what you can equip them with. So let's say you're fighting Tyranids or something like that, and you want a lot of flamers and heavy bolters or something like that. So that way you're going to be able to equip your tanks and other things with heavy bolters, your heavy weapon squads with heavy bolters, things like that. And then all your squads are going to be able to carry some sort of flamer or something along those lines, so that they can take care of those smaller horde type groups. So that's the example. So like I said, we're doing Astra Militarum today. They are pretty much copy-paste on almost everybody. Astra Militarum aren't very strong. They are not good in melee combat. They are a mid to long-range army for the most part. They are horrible foot sloggers, and they have awesome armor. So, let's get started. If you're going up against Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, you're going to be wanting to bring heavy bolters, heavy flamers, auto cannons, laser cannons, crack missiles, crack grenades, and meltas and multi-meltas. You're going to be wanting to bring those types of things because you're going to want a lot of armor penetration, and you're going to want to get a lot of shots downfield. Typically, Space Marines usually aren't armored specified, so more than anything, you want things that are going to be able to take out those Marines. So like, if I were you, I might potentially, depending on how many guys or tactical squads he has running around, maybe bring some. I think they're Manticores are the ones with the mortar launchers on them. So because they have the shred, and their AP really isn't that bad. And I'm pretty sure if you bring them in a group that's big enough, they get a little bit of a bonus to that. So definitely, what you're gonna want to do is keep them back as far as possible. Kind of keep them pinned. So anything that gives you pinning. Anything that can get some shots down range, and anything that has good AP, because the Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines are all very tough. And once they get in close combat with you, depending on if you're running a foot slogger army or not, they pretty much can murder you. And if you have tanks, they can typically take out your tanks pretty fast, so you kind of have to be careful. So if they're rocking a Devastator squad, or a Predator with laser cannons, or your Land Raider that's going to have the twin link laser cannons on the side or something like that. That's what you need to watch out for and kind of focus on first, depending on what kind of game you're playing, of course. So, Space Marines can be long range. It's usually like their super powerful weapons, like their laser cannons, the missile launchers, things like that. But for the most part, they're relatively mid-range army. They're like 24 to, I think, 36 on some of them. So, you can, as long as you can keep them at a distance and just keep blasting away on them, they should be easy to take care of. Astra Militarum, if you're Astra Militarum, basing Astra Militarum, definitely bring, if they're foot slogging it, lots of flamers, lots of heavy bolters, laser guns are just fine. Anything that can get off a lot of shots, or it can use a template to destroy a bunch of guys at once, is exactly what you want. If they have armor, on the other hand, you're definitely going to want laser cannons, potentially auto cannons for smaller vehicles. You don't want your missile launchers. You want your sergeants to be carrying those melt-a-bombs and things like that, so you can take care of that. Typically, it's not a good idea to get into close combat. I mean, I've never seen Astra Militarum versus Astra Militarum before. So I think that'd be cool to see all the guys, but I think it'd be confusing really fast unless you guys really stood out. So moving on to the Tyranids. Tyranids are kind of like Astra Militarum. you're definitely going to want to bring a lot of heavy bolters, a lot of heavy flamers. Laser guns be fine against like the smaller troop choices. You don't want battle cannons and stuff like that that have template weapons. They're going to be able to knock out large groups of those horde type guys all at the same time. But then with the Tyranids, you got to be careful because you're going to want, like, let's say 80% of the stuff is used to take out the smaller guys. But then with the bigger guys, like your Hive Tyrant and your Carnifexes and stuff, you are going to want laser cannons, plasma cannons, whatever you can get your hands on to get rid of those, because they are going to be a lot tougher. So that's what you're going to want to do with those. When facing orcs, typically not like probably like 60 to 70% of people run a green tide type thing. Lots of bolters, lots of flamers. You potentially could use laser guns. I'm pretty sure the average save on orcs, yeah, is a 6+, so laser guns would be fine. With orcs, the main idea is to take out their speed. So if you can take out their open top trucks, so if you can get laser cannons on those and stuff, get those blown up, you can kill a couple of guys inside, then they have to slowly advance toward you and you can just gun them down as they come. They will have a few far between stronger guys, like their mega knobs and stuff like that. You'll want to keep like a few things, like a few rocket launchers or something that's strong enough to penetrate their armor and take care of them and get rid of them. So as far as orcs, yeah, just get rid of their speed and they're pretty much yours. As long as you can just get the shots down range and they can't take a whole bunch of cover saves, and if they can, maybe bring things with template weapons, stuff like that ignore cover or whatnot. So demons, these are one of those. I would keep them at a good distance, as far away from you as possible, because they are a very melee based army, so they're going to want to get in there quick. Typically what they do is they get a little bit across the board, like certain characters or whatever across, or units across the board, then they summon, and then they summon within 6 inches of that unit, and then they're safe. So then they have a whole bunch. They can, one group can come at you, but then it can turn into a whole wall of guys. So definitely an army you want to keep back. They're pretty much all melee, like I said. A lot of their attacks are psychic. So honestly, if I were you, I would not try and compete with them psychically, being Astra Militarum. Yes, you have your psychers and stuff like that, and a few of the other main characters that might be psychers, but honestly, it's just take care of the source, basically, is what you need to worry about. So if they have an HQ that's got, that's giving them an extra, 3 or, 4, whatever, X amount of however many dice, because I know they get certain amounts for having certain perks. So if you can get rid of that, then typically you can take care of the shooting, so their guys have to march across the field at you, so you can just kind of blow them away as they come. So that's how to take care of demons. Versus Tau. Tau are kind of like your reflection in a way. Strong tanks, super weak guys, lots of shooting. With these guys, I would be concerned about taking out their mechs and things of that such. So I would bring plenty of tanks. I wouldn't bring a whole bunch of guys. If you do bring a couple of guys, bring maybe some veteran squads. Give them some missile launchers. Give them the heavy bolters, things like that. Then take out the smaller guys. Then use your tanks to get rid of their mechs, because that's going to be your biggest problem. Necrons. If I were you, I would not bring... I would bring as many long-range weapons as possible. Like your laser cannons, your battle cannons. I think auto cannons are pretty good. I don't remember what the range on those is. Pardon me. So yeah, your auto cannons, your battle cannons, even heavy bolters would be good, because they have enough. Yep, they have enough AP to get through their armor. So heavy weapon squads, if you're going to bring troops, and tanks is what I would bring. Keep them as far away as possible. Keep them away from your tanks, because their Gauss weapons can glance your tanks to death. So definitely doing a lot of template weapons and stuff like that to blow those guys off the board. So that's what you really want to be worried about. And then Eldar. Eldar are going to be tough versus your guys, because a lot of Eldar, a lot of their stuff is super duper strong, like incredibly strong. Like I've said before in the last video, their glass hammer, all of their lance weapons and stuff are usually, I'm pretty sure, AP1, and they're pretty stinking strong. So I would avoid. They're one of those where it would be best to take them out like first or second turn, because once they get in close enough and they can get their lances going on your tanks and stuff like that, they're going to be doing lots of penetrating hits and things like that to take those out. So that's going to get rid of a lot of your support. So maybe doing a couple of platoons and quite a few heavy weapon squads might be your best bet. I definitely would focus on bolters. I wouldn't bring as many flamers. You kind of want to kill them at a distance, Eldar. They can, and this is Dark Eldar and Eldar, they can have some pretty savvy melee guys. And I know there are characters that can get in close, like the Eldar. They had those guys with the spiderweb something. Anyways, they're the guys with the little spindle shooters, and it shoots like a million like little spindly cables all over the place, and then they let tension that forms on them or whatever cuts you into a million ribbons. Those guys, I would be careful, because those, I'm pretty sure, are either a template weapon or something, and I know that that would not be healthy for your guardsmen. So anyways, 12 minutes, it's not bad. It's better than the last one. So I hope that kind of gives you guys a little bit better of an idea. Like I said, whenever you're facing Space Marines, heavy armor, heavy weapons, first thing Astra Militarum, either lots of shots or heavy weapons, depending on if they're armored or not. Tyranids, lots of shots, lots of flamers, and then a few heavy weapons to take out the big guys. Orcs, like I said, take out their transportation. They're done. Demons, don't try and compete with them psychically. Just shoot them down where they come. Definitely template weapons. Goodness gracious. To get rid of those guys. To get rid of Tau, you don't be wanting to take out their tanks and their mechs. Once those are taken care of, their infantry is pretty much toast. Necrons, just keep them back, shoot at them as much as possible, and be done. And then the Eldar, Dark Eldar, like I said, blow them off the map as soon as possible. So have a heavy mix of heavy weapons and tanks. I wouldn't bring as many troops, because I know that their initiative is way better than a human's, so they'd be slaughtering probably a good 40 to 50% of your guys before you even got a turn to hit back. So definitely be careful about that. On your tanks, on the Horde armies, I would bring battle cannons. But then if you're facing things like the Space Marines, Eldar, Tau, and the Astra Militarum, I would bring I think it's Vanquisher that has the twin link laser cannon on the top, and then you can put the heavy bolter sponsons on the side, or whatever you want to do. But I think that would be your best bet at taking out the armor before it gets too close to you. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I will hopefully see you guys soon in the next video.